I'm Tyler Nichols with JoBlo.com, and again, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Oh, thank you, man. It's nice to meet you.
So, how pumped are you that there's all this alien stuff in the news, pretty much giving your movie some free promotion?
I know my actors can't promote it, but the US and Mexican governments can apparently. So it's great.
Is there anything that's been revealed that you're like, yes, we got that right?
No, I mean the Mexican mummy babies. I like that they were bipedal, and they don't not look like our guys. I mean, I think they look like they're paper mache, but
Yeah,
but
but they still have
um,
that design.
I know. I was like, it's nice that they didn't come up with like a completely different. They didn't show off like a completely different design this week. Like it was like I know 20th spliced a trailer together with some of that news footage, and that was
That's
fun.
smart.
So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
honestly, when I saw the footage, I was like, wait, is this a promotion for a movie?
It's funny because like our aliens look better.
Yeah, much better.
It drove me nuts because they were like picking them up like by the waist and just like moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, these, if those are real, those are the most valuable things that have ever been on this planet. And you guys
So,
were just like waving
yeah,
them around, and they're like, "There's eggs inside." I was like, I don't know, I don't know about this one, but I'll take the promotion. Thank you.
yeah. Well, and so since your aliens have that, that design that we're used to seeing, that
Yeah,
big-headed gray design, and
yeah,
so was that always the plan, or did you guys
100%.
have other looks designed?
No, I always really wanted the grays because I love them, and I felt like I wasn't seeing them in movies, and I always like I would go see a great alien movie and then be kind of disappointed by the design, not even because the design was bad, but because it wasn't a gray.
Yeah.
Um, and I think like Paul was probably the last one that had like that idea.
Hmm.
But then what that wasn't horror, and I always thought there was something really horror about them, and I just felt like I was underfed, and that was part of the fun of getting to make the movie, was really wanting it to be great and then really wanting to build out like a culture for
Hmm.
them, which I definitely never seen, and kind of try to make them feel like, oh, these guys are smart enough that they could come here, and they also have faith and all these different things. So that just felt like a really fun challenge, and it felt like also like a fun thing to have like that shorthand with the audience. Like as soon as Kaitlyn's character and the audience see like a glimpse of it, they both go, it's an alien. Like it's not a
Yeah.
burglar, it's not a
Yep.
wolf man, it's an alien. And so getting to instantly go, this is what it is, even if you see like a glimpse of it, it was really important to me that we create that shorthand, and then we can kind of build on it. Like we can kind of get to see different parts of their body that are kind of unique to this movie. Obviously,
Hmm.
their speech is like a huge component of the movie, and then getting to kind of meet different subspecies of the grays was really really fun. I wanted people like first frame to be like alien, and then after that it kind of gave us the freedom to build on that or change it up completely. And also one of the things we learned in the design process is it's really hard to avoid Star Trek and Star Wars. Like just so quickly you just become like, that belongs to Star Wars, that belongs to Star Trek, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like shades of color. And so just kind of finding like that gray design and then just trying to shape it into that thing,
Yeah.
um it was really fun. Yeah, it's the best.
So
It's making movies is great.
yeah, well then did you have a physical prop on set to like help the effects guys out with lighting as well as
Yeah,
Caitlin?
we had there's a little bit of practical, and then yeah, we had like a head on a stick, and we had cardboard cutouts, and then some of our bigger guys, we had like heads on giant or poles, and stuff like that. But yeah, it was great. I have
I
a
love
lot of great photos of the crew with.
I that creepy spider like design of the
Yeah.
one that is such a great look. That especially with the silhouette and yeah, it's just
Oh,
very, very
cool.
good
Yeah, that's
visual.
our daddy long legs.
Yeah, looks so great. Oh, and there's some obvious Close Encounters of the Third Kind inspiration and vibes going on here. Were there any other films that you took inspiration from for this film?
Yeah, I've been trying to think back on what that was. I mean, I think Signs was a really big
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah.
There's like a really big part of Signs that I think is kind of in conversation with this movie that I think as people see it, they'll kind of pick up on that. But also, I think, and I love Shyamalan and I love Signs, but I think one of the things on that was, I love aliens kind of bopping around outside of houses and doing all that. Um, but I was also like, well, they've come a really long way to hide in cornfields. It's like what happens if they just walked in? Like if Signs started and they walked in. Um, and that kind of felt like a jumping off point for me, where it was like instead of them just knocking over trash cans and spying on them, it was like that movie, we have that movie, but what is the
Mhm.
movie where they hear a bump in the night and it's already inside and it's just kind
Yeah.
of making an itinerary.
Yeah, and so you've written some films like The Babysitter and Underwater, but with No One Will Save You, you're behind the director's chair. And
Yeah.
so what's the major difference for you when approaching a project that you're going to direct? Like, do you feel a little more relief when knowing that you have a little more control over what ends up on screen?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like there's like if people like it, it's because of me and my crew, and if people don't like it, it's only because of me. And so and I think I always wanting to direct and kind of making my bones on as a writer and either learning what to do or what not to do in a lot of those scenarios and from a lot of those filmmakers, and then getting the chance. Now this is my second film I've directed. It just is I don't know, it's so great to get to excuse me to build like a family of people that kind of
Hmm.
all put their ingredients into the thing. So like it doesn't feel like I hate the a film by credit, because like my friends at Lord Miller, like it really is like everyone is really contributing to this movie, not just in a visual way, but like even like Ramsey Avery, our production designer. There's really big narrative stuff that Ramsey brought to the movie, and it's so fun to get to work with people like I mean I can name the whole crew, but
Yeah.
for me is it's just it's so great to work with them. And then as a writer director, it felt like a lot of times I was handing off an incomplete sentence, and then someone would finish the sentence, and you're just kind of like the thought wasn't quite finished.
Hmm.
And so this way, at least it feels like I'm finishing the thought in the sense. It's nice to kind of get to see it from start to finish.
I would say that like casting Caitlyn as your lead almost feels like a bit of a cheat code because
Oh
she
god,
is
yeah,
just
it's such.
so good. So can you talk about what she brought to the
I don't know
table
if I
on set?
swear. No, it's a total cheat code. It's like it's it's so easy. It really it really is. Like she's the most talented actor. She's the loveliest person. The crew love Caitlyn. Like she loves the crew. Like it does really make. I've been a part of things where that's not always the case, and not even like that they're like a bad person. It's just sometimes
Hmm.
like there isn't that gel. But Caitlyn's like everyone's best friend on set, which makes it so easy because then like the gaffers are really excited because they're getting to work with Caitlyn, who treats them great, and hopefully I treat people well too.
Yeah.
But I'm just not as cool as Caitlyn. Um, and no, I mean it's so easy. Like I should pretend it's harder, but it's she's the best. Yeah, it's really great.
That's awesome to hear because she is one of my favorite actors working
It's
today.
it's it's stupid how talented she is. Like I wear a lot of hats, but I cannot act. And I'm in awe of actors, and I'm really in awe of Caitlyn. Because she's also not like method. Like it's like she'll be like screaming, crying, doing whatever, and then you call cut, and she's just like dancing around, and it's just such a such a superpower. Yeah.
That's got to be something too that helps the onset vibe when you're dealing with a horror
Yeah,
movie.
it's like it's really cool making a movie with actors and crew that are all really, or maybe they're all tricking me and they're miserable, but that they all seem really happy and like they're having a good time. Like it's just
Yeah.
so, like my first experience was a very public disaster of an experience, my Western, my Western. And that was, people crying and weeping on the floor all day, every day, and it was just awful. And so when I do have an experience that's really great, like this one where everyone just seems like they're
Mhm.
down to try their best and to do good work, it makes the world a difference.
That's awesome to hear. And so I guess that brings me to my next question because I was very curious about there's one point in the movie there is this beautiful mural on the side of the building of a red-haired woman. And so
Uh-huh.
did you guys find that or did you do that yourself?
We did that ourselves. Yeah.
Amazing. Like it just works so well with and whenever I see that
Oh,
kind of stuff, I'm
cool.
like, were they just there and saw it? And we're like, we got to utilize it or like that's great.
No, it's a little spoiler. It's a very specific thing in the movie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was again, we had Ramsey Avery as our production designer, and him and his team did awesome stuff. Like there's so many little uh I mean that's not really an Easter egg because it's in your face, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of little clues and world building that I've been finding out like as I was in post, and then I would text Ramsey and he would say, "Oh yeah," or Kaitlyn. One of my favorite things about Kaitlyn is the opening of the movie. She's mostly in her nightgown. And while I was in post, I realized that her nail polish on her feet was the same color. And I texted her, I was like, "Did you do that on purpose?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, because I thought that's how Bryn would do that. Like she would want to make sure like she's trying to present herself, even like at night in bed, like she's trying to make sure like everything is this prim proper world she's built." She's like, "Well, of
Mhm.
course her once I knew the color of the nightgown, I was like, well, she of course she would try, like she probably was so excited to get that night dress,
Yeah.
and then or built it and then was like, and then I found like the perfect shade of blue to go with it and was like very proud of herself." And it's like a very small thing, but it's all Kaitlyn. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's like your crew just brings these spices to the movie that are so much beyond yourself. It's really exciting and cool.
And there's so many things I loved about playing this character. She has a major conflict. The emotions that she's going through, they were real to me.
There was a lot of gray area when it comes to the aliens. There was even points where I'm like, are they the bad guy?
Right.
So can you talk about the decision of not simply framing them as the evil interloper right off the jump? Because there is a lot of moments that you could have easily made them much more like scary in a moment, but then it seemed like you were holding back just to try and give that little, I don't know, less malicious
Yeah,
kind of alien.
I think it was for us it was about selling the idea that they were intelligent, um and it being they were not just intelligent, they were so much farther beyond us. Like if they're able to get here, they're our lights out for us.
Mhm.
um and so like not really wanting them to be like mustache twirling. um and so that was kind of the fun of it, and also the challenge of it, where it was like if they don't seem like um they're too focused on her, does it lessen the tension? um like our first alien encounter, there's times where it just leaves the room and like
Mhm.
you're kind of like, what the, did
Yeah.
it not know she was there, didn't know she was there? um uh and it being like a kind of trying to keep it in that unusual space where it is like, one of the things we talked to with the visual effects guys was, it's like, imagine these guys have like when they enter the house, they have like this list of things they want to do, and just because of the way their alien brains work, Kaitlyn is number 6. And so they're being like this kind of like, I've never seen a roof before, I want to go see
Yeah.
the roof, and then I got to go deal with the person, and it just being like their brain might not work in our linear brain way. And so getting to do that, and then just also trying to give them as much personality as we could. Sometimes when she hurts one of them physically, they get really mad at her and sad that like she hurt them, even though it was trying to hurt her first.
Hmm.
Or like you said with the daddy long legs, like for a long time in that his character, he's like pretty just happy to be there. Like he's kind of like bopping around and just kind of sing-songing at her, and then he has like his little ceremony, and when it doesn't go according to plan, he gets really like embarrassed and mad. But like at first he's not like, I'm gonna go chase, like he kind of just strolls off. Like he's just kind of like, doop de doop, I gotta go do my
Hmm.
job. And that felt like a fun culture to kind of bring out for them. The idea of like they, before they got to Earth, they kind of made their game plan, and they were just like, this is how we win. And then, that's probably not the first planet they hit, and just like making it feel like these guys are really good at their jobs, and Kaitlyn gets lucky sometimes.
Well, that's awesome. And thank you. This has been such a fun chat. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
cool, man.
You have a great rest of your day.
You too, dude.
Thanks.